Meantime, here in the district, the sun is setting on day 7 of the shutdown with no deal in sight in areas around the region. Feeling the impact. Yeah,
that includes some of DC's favorite outdoor attractions and park spaces there. DC News Now's Randy Bass joining us live in Arlington now with more. Randy, what are things looking like at Gravely Point?
Yes, on an 80-degree day in October, you'd expect to see a full parking lot and tons of picnic setups here around Gravely Point near Reagan National Airport, but not today. The park partially closed due to the federal government shutdown. Normally a bustling, popular spot for picnicking and plane watching. Gravely Point Park looking more like a ghost town on this summer-like Tuesday afternoon. Access to cars via the George Washington Memorial Parkway closed off with jersey walls and orange traffic barrels. The National Park Service says gates and buildings are locked at many of their parks during the shutdown. The park still accessible via the Mount Vernon Trail, but not as busy.
It seems like it's less people than usual, and I would think if they're off, they would come here. Didn't realize even that it was closed off, but I understand why.
For William Friday, he says the federal shutdown has pumped the brakes on his bike rental business at Gravely and around the DMV.
A lot of people like to ride this way, it's like everybody, I guess they go elsewhere. Kind of shut us down a little bit, I'll just be glad when it's over, I'll be glad when it's over.
The National Park Service tells us they're trying to keep things accessible, with some parks still open if you can get in on foot or on a bike. Farther north, Theodore Roosevelt Island also sits along the parkway, confirmed closed due to the shutdown with its footbridge closed and locked. On the Virginia side of Great Falls Park in McLean, cars seen turned away at locked gates Tuesday, with things expected to stay that way as long as the government stays shut down. Now, the National Park Service tells us you can expect its visitor centers at some of its larger national parks to be shut down along with the federal government, but law enforcement, firefighting, and emergency response operations, those are all still active during the federal government shutdown. At Gravely Point, I'm Randy Bass, DC News Now.